Bro, I just finished watching the Notre Dame game. I mean, this has been one hell of a long day of football. Notre Dame did win 49-20 over Stanford. By the way, Miami held Stanford to 7 points. And Stanford scored with their, I don't know, fifth string quarterback, their senior who's never played quarterback before, never played at all. Rick Meyer's son, I think his name was Chris Meyer. But yeah, they win the game 49-20, and they had their starters in the game in the fourth quarter in a game they were dominating. I just put this out here because, there was a guy named Joey Galloway who said you shouldn't be trying to score at the end of the game. Well, Notre Dame is up 49-20 after Stanford scores to make it 49-20 with 4 minutes left, and they have their backup QB, but they have starters in the game everywhere else except for Jeremiah Love. And they are chucking the ball all over the field. They threw the ball the first 5 times of that final possession. They got the ball down to the 10-yard line before they nearly fumbled. They nearly fumbled. They had a bad snap, and then the clock ran out. But yeah, we were watching Marcus Freeman pissed as hell on the sideline. Dude was pissed. Dude was pissed because he understands the assignment. He gets what it is. He knows that his team has got to win very, very impressively. They're playing a bad team. And the reality is people are looking at everything right now. So we can look at 70-7 last week at Syracuse, but we can also look at the fact that Miami beat Stanford 42-7, and they didn't score after the first quarter against Miami, right? So all these things are being taken into account. And he knows this, and he gets this. And you can see how pissed off he was on the sideline. It was really, really obvious. He was irritated, right? And I understand that Mario Cristobal finally voiced some stuff, thank God, a little bit. But I didn't see that same urgency to score because Miami could have scored more on Pitt today. And they slowed the ball down. They slowed the possessions down. They were taking time off the play clock every time. And it wasn't until they scored in the final minute to make it 38-7. Again, they dominated on that bomb from Carson Beck to CJ Daniels. And of course, last week Joey Galloway said Miami scored junk points. They didn't count. It was only a 10-point win. Well, what do you guys say about your boy Marcus Freeman? Because he clearly was trying to score to make it 56-20 because he understands the assignment. We all understand it. And I do believe Notre Dame should be in the playoffs. I've said it over and over and over again. I believe they should be in the playoffs. I believe they should be ahead of Alabama. I believe they should be ahead of Oklahoma. I believe that if the committee does the right thing, they're going to drop Oklahoma and Alabama to 11-12 and move Notre Dame to 8, move Miami to 8, keep Notre Dame at 9, and have BYU at 10. And here's why. Because Alabama can win their way into the playoffs. Period. They can win their way into the playoffs by winning in the SEC championship, or they could lose their way out. That's my opinion. What do y'all think? Let me know. But yeah, Marcus Freeman knew the assignment.